Hello, welcome to the Logan Weather Update and Outlook. It is February 25th, 11 o'clock, 11 p.m. Sorry for the delay. I know I'm usually here a little earlier, but, just want to spend as much time away from this area as possible. And you can see today we had no clouds in the sky. It was a nice, clear day. Looking at it, I did get to some pines. I didn't take a video for you. I just made it as far as Pine Lawn. Just wasn't feeling well today. I don't know all that's going on, I guess. But we did have some blue sky, though. It wasn't quite a deep blue today. It seemed like there was a little milkiness to it. You can see here in this picture here of the sun. You can see there was a little bit of a milkiness, a little bit of a haze in the air. I don't know what that's from. Maybe a little bit of moisture in the air or whatever. Not sure. Inversion. And then tonight we had the moon come out and moonrise. I actually took this picture by a Twin Lakes Park in Wansaw as the moon was rising. And quite beautiful, as you see there, the moon rising, and very nice there photo here, obviously. So you can see I get a little bit of that milkiness in the air there. But anyway, looking at our satellite loop right now, you can see we do have some higher clouds rolling in, a little bit of a disturbance coming through. Looking at our weather map here. You can see it doesn't really show up. They don't really have it marked as anything. We do have high pressure in control. That's going to start moving off the coast and giving us a return flow, which is going to bring in warmer air across our area. Looking across the country right now, we got a lot of red flag warnings now in effect for parts of the northern plains, and lots of winter storm watches and warnings in effect for the Rockies and the West there. For yet another storm system coming into the west coast. You'll see it here when I go to the CONUS view. This is the next storm right here. You can see it right here coming in, and there's that there's that Pacific jet again. So let's look across the area here. We'll look at our temperatures. Obviously, no real cold air anywhere at all. No real cold air anywhere across the whole lower 48. The cold air is kind of, today felt chilly, but it really wasn't that cold. And even if you go up into Maine, you'll see 20s, which isn't that cold for them. You have to go way, and Nova Scotia is pretty chilly. So the core of that cold air seems to be over Nova Scotia right now, where they got temperatures in the teens. You have to go way up into Quebec to get any kind of cold air at all, or into Canada here. Other than that, not that cold out there. With 36, you can see we've got the southwest wind already. 36 at Islip, and the dew point's up to 28. So, yeah, not that dry. The air, actually, the moisture content has gone up quite a bit today in the air, as you see here. So, we started in the morning, in the earlier part of the day, with dew points in the single digits and cold conditions. And then the winds went from north to south right around the afternoon. That's when we started seeing those dew points start rising already. And you can see that right there. You can see them starting to rise already. So we had the cold air in the morning. I wish I was out to enjoy the cold air in the morning, but I just wasn't feeling up to it, unfortunately, because we're below freezing until like noon. So who knows when it'll be that cold again. Maybe not this year. The rate things are going, we'll look at the outlook. So let's look at our highs and lows across the area. We're first starting with the lows, because West Hampton did get down to 12. It got down to 19 at Islip this morning. So there was some radiational cooling going on. Teens in a lot of areas, 20s in the city. And looks like they had lows around 18 in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River there. Let's look at our highs. And our highs, see, it got up to 37 at Islip. So we still made it to the upper 30s with that warmer air coming in. Some sites even made it close to 40. Looks like Central Park made it to 40, and of course Toms River made it to 43 actually at Miller Air Park. Going back to our station here, we'll just look at West Hampton, because it really illustrates what wound up happening this morning, because we had that radiational cooling. And if we look here and we go back here and look at these numbers here, let's go to the morning. Yeah, here we go. You can see how it was. When the wind dropped down, West Hampton dropped to the low teens down to 12. Then when the sun came up, the temperatures really just went up real quickly. From there up to the 20s pretty quickly, and then above freezing by like 11 in the morning. There was a northwest wind and a west wind This actually is a mistake. I don't know. There's something wrong with their anemometer. I wasn't gusting to 32. But you can see the wind shifting to the south, and that kind of. So we just had like cold air for part of the day, and it was already on its way out. Pretty pathetic, huh? Look at the climate thing. So we'll go to that. Our climate statistics for today. I'm sure today we were below normal. High of 37, low of 20. 6 degrees below normal on the high at Islip. 7 degrees below normal on the low. Puts us 6 degrees below normal for the day at Islip. It won't be like that tomorrow. Central Park, 41 for a high and a low of 23. So the high was 3 degrees below normal. The low was 8 degrees below normal, putting Central Park 6 degrees below normal for the day. So let's go to the. We already did the weather map, so we will go over here and we will take a look. And again, there's nice. You can see a little bit of snow remaining, a little bit of snow. But that cold air was a very low-level cold air as well, by the way, that we had today. You know what I'd like to do? We can't do that. You know what I would love to do? So we don't normally do this, but I don't know where they keep it. Upper air soundings. I don't know where they keep that stuff on the website for the Weather Service. But yeah, here we go. Upper air. So weather balloons. Let's see if we can check out our most recent upper air sounding plot. Okay, so this is. I want to show you this. All right. All right. This is the most recent one. But you can see how the temperature is actually rising with height. See that? That's an inversion right there. Look at how the dew points just drop off a cliff there on that. This is sort of like what its sounding is. All right. I'd like to see the 8 a.m. one. That's what I would like to see. I don't know why they don't have the old one. Unfortunately, they don't have the old one here. So I would love to see the old one. But what we can do, we can look at it on a model, I guess, and show you. So we'll have to do it that way. I don't know where they keep the old one. But we'll do, before we go into the Outlook, I'll just rewind this model back to this morning here. And we'll just go back to this morning here, a 12Z run, if I can. All right, well, actually, probably going to have to go back even more, I guess. There was 6Z. Let's go back to this morning, 12Z, and look at this sounding again, all right? And you'll see what's going on here. So you see that inversion? See how the temperature just rises like that? That's an inversion right there. So we had an inversion today. That may have explained why it was a little milky out there, the sky. But anyway, let's go back to the upper air. So let's go talk about the kind of weather we're going to be having. We already have some of the 0Z GFS in because I've come in kind of late, which we can look at. But I'm going to use the 18Z for the jet stream analysis and stuff like that. So, and you can see there's that fire hose again. What a mess that we have this week. So big fire hose jet again. And you can see there that it's just going to continue to, we have a huge ridge in the east, lots of ridging, which means warmth in the east, trough tendency to go into the west, and it doesn't look like there's really any cold air coming down at all. Maybe a little bit here and there around March 11th, but, that fire hose, it looks like it tries to break down a little bit toward the end there, but, it's been the story with the split flow all winter long. It really has, if you can call it a winter. Let's go to the European, and we'll compare this with the European. Actually, I'll do that when I get to the upper air. So European doesn't go that far out. So let's go to the upper air here. And you'll see what the problem that we have here. And it's just a horrible pattern if you want cold. All right, so we'll get past this, obviously. So, and you'll see here the ridge, again, that we have. That's going to be building in the east. Trough in the west, deep troughs in the west, and that's going to mean a big ridge in the east, and that means lots of warmth in the east, and the cold air there isn't really any connection to the Arctic. All the troughs are in the west, basically. So with a pattern like this, it's going to be hard to get any snow. I love how the last frame, it looks like it's trying to do something there, but it's probably not even in the 12Z run. It is sort of in the 12Z run. But you see, this is a really lousy pattern if you want to have any cold weather. Or any chances for snow. I mean, this winter may as well just about be over. We barely had a winter to begin with, of course, and now I'll have to wait and suffer through a spring, a summer, and a fall to get to the next winter, if we get one, of course. So let's look at the European, 12Z European, and we'll go ahead and look at this. So, I mean, you pretty much have an agreement here. Some slight differences here. European does bring a little bit of, looks like it's trying to bring a little bit of cold air, but you see, there's no connection to the Arctic. So it's not really going to be that cold, any cold air at all. And you can see, look at that huge ridging that we get. It's just crazy off-the-wall ridging that we get in the east. And look at that. Look at the fire hose. This is the European. Look at this thing. I mean, it just doesn't end. It just doesn't end. I mean, it's so frustrating, you know? So let's go to our temperature anomaly chart, and I'm going to keep it on the North American view. So this kind of tells, we'll do a little bit of the North American view, and then we'll do a little bit of the CONUS view. So you can see there's the European there, bringing a little bit of that cold air. It's trying to bring a little bit of that cold air down from Alaska Thursday and Friday. But then here comes a huge ridge in the east, and we're going to be suffering with this for a while. And this goes way up into Quebec, too, by the way. So they're going to have some very anomalous warmth as well. So GFS, this is the 0Z run, so I'm going to just take it back to the 18Z run here so we get the full picture. I mean, pretty much an agreement here. Pretty much an agreement. It's terrible, man. It's just terrible. It's terrible. It's just awful. It really is. So we'll go to CONUS view now. So you can see lots of above normal weather we're going to have. This week's going to be we're going to end February very above normal. Then we have the last day. It's going to cool down for a little bit before we go back above normal again. And the colder air tendency to be out west generally, but it's not really, Arctic air. There's no Arctic air here. The Arctic air is in Siberia, where it's been all winter. So let's go to the surface map here. All right, so now that you've got the upper air, we go to the surface. And we'll be dry tomorrow, but you'll see those rain chances creep in the Tuesday night and the Wednesday. And we're going to have chances for rain and a very strong cold front Wednesday night. This could actually bring some severe weather. You'll notice here that there's a V in the isobars, which could bring some severe weather for us Wednesday night. And then that comes through. We have colder weather on Thursday, just polar air, you get just barely polar air. And then we have a system that's going to wind up going off to the south later Friday night to Saturday that's going to brush us. No cold air, so if we do see any precipitation, it'll be in the form of rain. Then we have this weird backdoor pattern again emerging next week before another cold front comes through. Another high builds in, but all the lows are going up the Great Lakes. There's no snow here. Maybe a chance for some cold air, maybe a little bit there, but it'll be very fleeting if we see it. Looking at the European, obviously we don't have P-type on the European, but looking at the European, you see there's that cold front, high builds, and the European's a little more impressive with that high, and actually keeps us dry Friday, and that system is much more suppressed looking, but it eventually does try to make it up the coast. I mean, it would be nice if it would just stay down there, but it does try to make it up the coast eventually into the into the first weekdays of March there. All right. So now that you've seen all that, let's go and look at our short range forecast for you. In fact, actually, before we do that, let me go back to the CONUS because I want to just show you a couple of things. We'll go back to the GFS here. This time we will use the latest run of the GFS. All right. We'll look at this and see if anything has changed on this particular run. I don't think it has, but we'll go ahead and look at it. I'm using the radar simulation. So you can see, again, that rain that's going to come in. Actually, this kind of shows the rain up a little better. So it's going to be a showery form later Tuesday night into Wednesday, our first shot of rain. The chance of showers on Wednesday. And then we have this cold front coming through on Wednesday night to Thursday. That could be a It's still trying to bring that system in. Again, only one nice sunny day on Thursday, and then Friday increasing clouds with maybe some rain at night, into maybe lingering into part of Saturday with that stupid system there that the GFS is having. And hopefully the European is right and that thing stays further to the south for longer, because that would be real nice. If we can do that, of course, because you know how much I hate the rain. So let's look at our. This is what I want to look at: 7 to 300 relative humidity. So we can take a look at the moisture feeds here, and you can see. Look at all the moisture that we're going to have in the air on Wednesday. It's going to be a lot of moisture, and you can see. Look at that, almost like a dry line there developing. So I'm going to be very concerned about the possibility of severe thunderstorms Wednesday night to Thursday. Yes, I know we're in March, but I have to be concerned about it. All right. And that we've looked at that. So, and of course, if we go ahead and we look at our dew points here, you'll show all this humidity, this tongue of humidity that's going to wind up coming up. Look at that. And then it gets pushed down. And you can see there is some colder air up there, but again, it's just like what we just had. It's a glancing blow. Yeah, it's a glancing blow. So let's go to the short range now, and I will go to the HRRR model. So here's the HRRR. We will go ahead and look at our dew points and wind flow as we go into tomorrow. So here we are at tonight, and you see the southwest winds here. Air is still staying relatively dry. Dew points come up a little bit tomorrow. We have 30. Southwest winds, which is going to be tomorrow, is going to be much warmer than today. Will be well above normal, especially in New Jersey. The sea breeze will be keeping Long Island cool. Yes, a sea breeze. We're talking about sea breezes in February. And then for your Tuesday, we got the southeast wind, and then you could start seeing the southerly wind starting to pick up a little bit now. And this is the humidity increasing here ahead of that front, and that's going to bring in the rain chances. So temperatures on the HRRR tonight. We're probably going to get some radiational cooling tonight. Really not as much as last night, but I still think a lot of sites will go below freezing. And then tomorrow, much warmer. If you're in Jersey, you're going to be 55, well into the 50s, maybe 60. Long Island will have a sea breeze, so we'll probably be in the upper 40s, mid to upper 40s for Long Island. And you can see the effect of that sea breeze there. Again, even at night, Long Island drops into the 30s. And then for Tuesday, even warmer. Jersey into the 60s, maybe even a shot at 70 on Tuesday. Long Island will be in the 50s. This could be some record-breaking warmth. As you see, look at how far it goes up. It goes up all the way into Michigan, which is absolutely ridiculous for February. But again, if you want winter, well, sorry. You're not going to get one this year. We didn't get one last year, and we're not getting one this year either. So now I'll go to the GFS. Actually, I'll show you the precipitation forecast here. We'll do that. There's not really a whole lot to look at here on the precipitation forecast. It's actually developing. The HRRR is actually developing a slight shower over like midday tomorrow. I don't know why it's doing that. But what it sees, it's doing some, whatever would be very brief. The better chances of rain come in later Tuesday night until Wednesday. And you can see, look at how close these isobars are. What this means, LLJ. It means it's going to be a very strong LLJ with this front. So we go to the GFS now, and I'll use the radar simulation for the GFS. So we'll go to this radar simulation here. Obviously, we don't have a whole lot of frames, but this front is something I'm very concerned about. You see how those isobars have a V in them. So if we draw there is a V. That's a sharp cold front. And you're dividing two air masses, one very humid and one much drier. And that is the possibility that we could see some severe weather there with this front. Wednesday night could be definitely a good chance of some thunderstorms, I think. And then behind the front, it turns much colder. So let's look at our dew points on wind flow on this, so you get an idea of what's happening here on the GFS. You can see look at all the barbs. There's a very strong LLJ. Humid tropical air surges in ahead of this cold front, and then when the cold front passes on Thursday, the dew points drop very quickly. But you notice how quick the cold air is in, boom, and then it's out, just like what we had today. Same deal. All right. So let's look at the temperatures of the GFS, because again, you can see the warmth that it's showing here. And I think, like I said, Jersey, somebody might even hit 70 there, And Wednesday, also going to see that warmth. Long Island will be cooler, and of course, that could have a tendency to maybe lower the chance of severe weather, but I think we're going to see a risk zone being placed, at least all inland over New Jersey. And then once this cold front comes through, temperatures drop relatively quickly. I mean, you could see a 20-degree temperature drop. You could go from like 55, or if you're in Jersey, you could go from like 60 at around 5 o'clock down to 35 perhaps by midnight. And then we drop below freezing after that cold front moves through. And then for Thursday, we're going to see the temperatures get into only the mid to upper 30s on Long Island and around 40 in Jersey. But then look what happens as we get toward Friday. We're already mid to upper 40s. And then this system kind of hangs out to the south, which keeps us in the clouds, and some rain chances, which will keep the temperatures down. But then we see the warmth spring right back into the picture on Sunday. And then it's just going to be another more ridiculous warmth again to begin March. More records will fall, I'm sure. So we're going to look at a few more models here. Let's go to the NAM 12, which I have the full 0Z NAM 12 in, which does show the cold front. As you can see, look at this. Look at how sharp this cold front is. There might even be a shelf with this thing. I mean, this thing is going to be very powerful. Look at the difference here. We're looking at the temperatures here. And if I show you the dew point split, it's going to be even more impressive again. I mean, this is really, really impressive, and we're going to be tracking this. This is really, 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 really impressive looking. So let's see what the NAM does for precipitation here as far as rain goes. And you'll see, again, look at how tight those isobars are. All right. Look at that sharp V. This is a recipe for severe weather. Wednesday night, it definitely could be a squall line with this thing, and it could produce, severe weather. Maybe even, I can't even rule out there might even be a tornado somewhere with this line here. Have we ever had a tornado in February? Well, maybe maybe this will be our first time. So yeah, very concerned about this line. We have very strong winds ahead of it too. And we're going to visualize those winds too, but we can actually take a look at the winds here. Let's go look at the wind speed. Does this have wind? Here we go. You can see these are our winds, and this is really very alarming here, seeing these winds like this. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this. This is going to be a very powerful LJ that could wind up causing a lot of damage. Perhaps we could see a lot of power outages. And again, here's the 850, and again, this shows you what we're going to be dealing with here. It's really going to be scary. So as far as total accumulated precip, not going to be a huge rainmaker. Let's see. Well, the rain could come down when it does come down. Let's see. So we'll have showers on Wednesday too. So when we get all said and done, we could see maybe between 1 and 2 inches, because that rain could really be very heavy with that front when it comes through. And we'll have a much better idea as we get closer in time for this. So lastly, we'll talk about the skies. We'll just go to the RGM here for this. The sky situation, obviously. So for tomorrow, we will have some more clouds around, obviously showing quite a bit of high cloudiness for the first part of tomorrow, and then a little more sun in the afternoon. So you'll have some mid and high level cloudiness, and maybe the slight chance of a light rain shower, perhaps, be very brief. It's almost like a warm front coming through. And then we'll have for Tuesday, we'll have more. Looks like, Tuesday, first part of the day doesn't look like it sees that many clouds. There'll just be some scattered high clouds, but then more clouds, obviously, later on in the day. And then, obviously, plenty of clouds for Wednesday. And then Thursday, hopefully we clear it out and have a nice day, though it will be breezy. So let's go, and obviously we can get to that a little later on. But let's visualize this front now. Because I want to talk a little more about this situation for Wednesday, and then I'm going to get on with the rest of this, talk about the climate and stuff, the climate outlook. But let's go over to Wednesday now. We're over to Wednesday here now, and looking at the Ventus sky here. And you can see the warmth over Jersey compared to Long Island. But these winds are going to be a concern. So let's see what we got here. This is showing the LLJ that we're going to have here. All right, so these are the wind gusts here that we have. It's not showing anything too crazy. Yeah, here's the line. So this is where you got to worry about this line here. It's already showing the line here. Let's just go here. Maybe we can actually give us some cape. There is actually some cape being shown here over Jersey. A little bit. There is some. So there is some, and we'll have a better idea. Obviously, it's too soon to really tell, but these wind gusts definitely are a concern that we're going to have with this. And of course, this is the GF. It's using the icon. Let's see who the GFS might be. Oh, yeah, GFS is way worse at the wind. I think the icon's undoing it. So here's the wind gusts on the GFS. Yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, 62, 63 miles an hour. This is a problem. So this could be a big LLJ event again that we could be seeing. And it seems like the LLJ gets worse as it moves further east. This is the GFS, all right? So when we look at the winds aloft, again, we'll show you that LLJ for you here. We're going to go to 950. This is 1,600 feet above us on Wednesday, and look at what's going on here. Sustained winds of hurricane force, and it looks like the worst winds will be over the east end right now. So high wind warnings, a possibility. Wednesday is not going to be very good at all. It's going to be a very rough evening, and we could see a lot of power outages, and we'll have to see what happens. The other issue is waves, and we're going to get into that a little more in the following days because this LLJ is really scaring me Wednesday. So here we go again. Another tropical storm type of. Even though it's not a tropical storm, it may actually feel like one. So let's go to the Climate Prediction Center. No surprises here. 6 to 10 day outlook. Excellent chances of above normal in the Great Lakes, Northeast, down to the south, the whole eastern part of the country, with well below normal in California and the Southwest. Precipitation is pretty much above normal everywhere except a few areas of near normal, extreme Northeast, and a little bit below normal in Maine, and a couple of near normals in the Pacific Northwest. Everybody's way above because of all these Pacific systems. Then it comes slamming in again as the fire hose that has never been. It's been never ending this whole winter, and it just continues. And it continues. 8 to 14 day looks pretty similar to the 6 to 14 day, 6 to 10 day, well above normal. And above normal precipitation. If you want the snow, I don't know how much sunshine you can get, but if you want cold and snow, my suggestion, get a plane ticket and head on over to Flagstaff. So, I think that's going to wrap up this Long Island weather update and outlook. Have a good night.